Most people think to stand out in this business, you need to be the first one on top of the story, or the person with the loudest voice or the biggest ratings. In truth, to stand out in the news business, you just need to ask the right questions and demand the right answers. Question more.
When old truths seem wrong, when old rules just don't hold, a new world is yet to shape out. Disdain becomes the etiquette, and engagement equals betrayal. When so many find themselves worlds apart, we choose to look for common ground.
It's been 10 years since Crosstalk started to air. 10 years. I think it's time to shake things up. Maybe change the branding, maybe the format. Here's what I've been thinking about. Next season, all Brexit-related episodes filmed on an island. We have 10 experts fight it out for a trophy. What do you think? Okay, a more affordable option. 25 experts. And one red rose. Another suggestion, geopolitical Jeopardy parody? No, political cookout. We will literally roast the elites. Late night show. It's a rare format these days, and it's cheap. All you need is an old microphone and a printed banner. And if I actually agree with one of my guests, I can do this. Canned laughter, politics, gone wild, live music. Okay, Crosstalk is not about hype. It's about meaning. 10 years of talk, and still going strong.
Peter, if you want to change something, why don't we get rid of the bow tie?
No, that is too much.
Okay, I want to start back with a figure, quite a big figure at that, $50 billion. That is what some of the world's biggest oil corporations have spent on projects that undermine climate goals, according to a report by financial think tank Carbon Tracker. And while climate activists insist large companies and governments should come up with proper initiatives to tackle the problem, it seems some experts' proposals are pretty radical. The main official initiative, though, is that 2015 Paris Climate Agreement, spoken so much down the years by so many people. Now, it was ratified by 185 states, citing measures that countries should take to limit global warming, but most of the signatories have failed to live up to the commitments. RT's Donald Quarter discussed the issue with a panel of experts.
The Paris Accord was not legally binding. There was no reason for anyone to stick to it. They can do what they like, and they've carried on doing what they've liked. I'm afraid we're in the grip of a series of systems which are putting profit before everything, and they're going to wring the last drop of profit out of all the old world industries, such as the fossil fuel industries. We've known about this problem. We've known about CO2. We've known about methane. We've known about the feedback loops. We've known about the albedo effect, the ice sheets. Capitalism has had plenty of time to solve this problem, but I'm afraid it hasn't dealt with it. So we have to start dealing with capitalism. And the only way we're going to do that is by taking radical action on the streets. I've been on the streets myself with Extinction Rebellion, and the people come up to us and they're with us.
You take the UK, for example, there was a lot of activism, in the last 20 years and running up to 2008 when a law was passed called the Climate Change Act that was supposed to deal with the problem and hold that government and all future governments to hold their feet to the fire in terms of doing what's required. And that was certainly the result of lots of different environmental groups and, hundreds of thousands of people marching repeatedly.
By drug lords, but small details. The important thing is that Guyana is important.
Guyana sits in a strategic location on the north edge of South America and on the Caribbean.
And oh, look, what a coincidence. It borders Venezuela. I mean, what are the chances of that? The same Venezuela that has US bases all around it. Here. Brazil is hinting that it's open to hosting a US military base. Oh my, Venezuela is like the center of a donut of US bases. Same Venezuela that the US has threatened repeatedly, where it has tried to spark regime change, and which it has encircled with guns, just in case Trump decides to pull the trigger.
It's a regime that frankly could be toppled very quickly by the military if the military decides to do that.
You'd think entirely surrounding nations you don't like might be a bit overkill, but it's the pressure, psychological pressure, that matters. Diplomacy is easier when the guys you're negotiating with always have something to fear, specifically about their country being burned down if they say the wrong thing. And it isn't just Venezuela. I mean, look at Iran. There's nowhere to chuck a chewing gum wrapper without hitting a US Marine on the nose, which, come to think of it, they could well use as an excuse to invade Iran. A few months ago, Trump even sent more troops to the region just in case they left an empty spot at which Iran could throw a chewing gum wrapper. And China, not for the faint of heart. One gets the impression that there are more US troops surrounding China than there are US troops left in the United States. But don't let the map fool you. For America, that isn't enough.
The US needs to develop alternate operating locations. The Pentagon will continue to develop new concepts, build a distributed and resilient force posture, and field new capabilities to counter these threats.
Honestly, the drug metaphor seems remarkably apt. The Pentagon recently boasted that it has locations in more than 160 countries. Have some sort of military presence in